All right, welcome in everybody out there. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Happy Friday night. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. As always, joining us, we have our token mad scientist, shocking himself faster than he can shock the world. How you doing tonight there, old man Builds?
Doing great, man. Looking forward to Bigfoot.
I know it, man. I'm looking forward to getting into this as well. Joining us, as usual, as well, we've got the Mouth of Houston. How you doing there, LW?
Hey, buddy. How's everybody doing tonight? Looking forward to it. Later on week in the books, and we're here again Friday night.
All right. And with us tonight as well, we've got the snooty lady that owns a couple airplanes. Only comes on here just so she can write us off on her taxes. How you doing there tonight, Gutters Bob?
Getting my tax deduction in. I'm glad to be back.
I know you've been out riding around, gallivanting around the world. So good to have you back. Joining us tonight as well, we've got Brian coming over here from Bigfoot Odyssey. He does a lot more than just that. How you doing tonight there, Brian?
I am good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man, really glad to have you on here. Can't wait for you to explain to us what in the heck is going on in the world of Bigfoot. So yeah, we just want to give a big shout out to some of the people already coming in here. Who we see out there, we got Outside Left. We've got Obscure Destinations. What's going on? Good to see Obscure Destinations coming in over there with a $2 super chat. Much thanks for supporting our channels, becoming a member as well over there. Thanks so much to you. Matt Dummett in here. Who else we got? Let's see. Scrolling on down. We got Karen from HRBC Entertainment. Gumby coming in here. Guaco Loca. Matt Dummett in here as well. Dispatch Center. What is going on, Dispatch Center? Good to see you, buddy. Let's see if I missed your name. I'm not doing it on purpose, but let's see who else we got. Scrolling on down behind in the chat. But yeah, no matter where you're watching from, this is going out live all over the place. So we do appreciate you being here no matter where you're coming from. What's up, Crypto Alchemist? Good to see you. I'm MCF After Dark in here as well. All right, everybody sit back. Show's about to get going. We'll get right into it.
Do you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
And you won't be angry?
I will not be angry.
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
Abby normal.
You're listening to the ASM Podcast Network.
All right, there's your first Bigfoot sighting of the night. Once again, thanks everybody for being here. I see we got a bunch of names coming in the chat already. Obscure Destinations coming in there again with another super chat. Thank you so much, Obscure Destinations. Much appreciated. We all love the support and much appreciated to you. We got Cowboy Lazy. No matter where you're watching from, this is going out. I think Gutters has got this on Kick, whatever Kick is. Also over there on Gutters Pub YouTube channel. I got it streaming live on X over here on YouTube as well. LW's got it live on YouTube. Old Man Builds is live on Facebook and YouTube as well. So already a cool 106 people in here watching. Thanks so much for being here, each and every one of you. We really appreciate the support. So let's jump right into it. We got Brian here joining us. He does a lot. Well, Brian, I'll just let you tell everybody who you are instead of explaining that.
Sure. I am the host of the Sasquatch Odyssey podcast. I do multiple podcasts. Sasquatch Odyssey is the main show. I do a show called Disturbing History. We were talking a little bit about that before we went live. I do another show called Backwoods Bigfoot Stories, where I narrate a lot of Bigfoot stories. And I also do a true crime show called The Guilty Files. So yeah, full-time podcaster, full-time author, Bigfoot researcher. It's pretty much me in a nutshell. It's content creation all the time.
So that's all you do now, just create content.
That's it.
Oh, man.
Been full-time doing it since 2022.
Oh, wow. Well, good for you, man. Good for you. That's awesome. I know I was telling you earlier, I checked out that one on Spotify, that one podcast you have there. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. I'm hooked already. So big supporter here, and thanks so much for coming on. So what in the heck is going on in the world of Bigfoot right now? Everywhere I look, I'm seeing Bigfoot, people arguing, people mad. What the heck's going on?
I wasn't aware of anything. No, I'm just kidding. So basically, in a nutshell, the last couple of weeks, the big thing swirling the drain in the Bigfoot community is this new documentary called Capturing Bigfoot. It sort of hit my radar probably 2 weeks ago. I started seeing it in the algorithm. They were feeding me, people were arguing about this new documentary and what it meant about the Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967. Could it possibly be a hoax? Is there some new stuff out there in this gripping documentary that nobody's really seen because they've only screened it in a couple of places as far as I'm aware? But I was kind of waiting. People started messaging me. I was getting text messages and phone calls and emails and people asking me to comment about this new documentary. And I'm like, look, guys, I don't have anything to say here because I haven't seen it. So I was kind of waiting for anybody I knew in the community to go to one of these screenings and maybe watch this thing, or maybe even go to a screening myself. Or there was a rumor it was going to be on Plex and people would be able to stream it. But then I had a buddy of mine who had been on my show in the past, Eric Palacios of Harry Man Road YouTube channel. And I saw that Eric did a reaction video after he went to a screening in Austin, Texas. He lives in Austin, so they had a screening there. And he went out to the screening and got to see this film. And it was a pretty harrowing reaction video. I mean, he was pretty emotional about what he had seen in this 33-minute reaction video he did on his YouTube channel. And there was some pretty scathing things in there he had to say that he had just seen at this screening. So I looked at the video, I watched it, and I was like, wow, I got to say something about this. So I went live on my socials, did a little live thing, maybe 15 minutes, just saying, hey, I just watched this from Eric. There's apparently this new film that they've shown in this. It's like a 40-second clip that they've shown in this new documentary. And it apparently shows Patty, as we know her from the Patterson-Gimlin film, in a different location at a different time. And as far as I know, Patty was only supposed to appear once. And that was from October 20th, 1967, when Roger filmed her on that sandbar and Bob Gimlin was there beside him. So I was intrigued by that. But again, I hadn't seen it, so there wasn't a whole lot I could say. Well, 10 minutes after I got off my live, I got a phone call from Doug Hychek. If you guys have ever watched Monster Quest, he created Monster Quest. He produced Monster Quest for many years, and he's pretty well known in the Bigfoot community. Doug called me and said, hey man, I saw your live. Let me give you some information, some things I know about this new documentary. So we had about a 30-minute conversation. He gave me some things that didn't really surprise me, but I still, I wasn't coming down on one side of this or the other. But I do know a lot of people in Bigfoot, so I reached out to the one person that made sense to me to reach out to first, which was Bill Munns, who is, again, if you're in the Bigfoot community at all, you know Bill from all of his work that he's done over the decades looking at the Patterson-Gimlin film. He's probably spent more time with this film, working with this film, than anybody else on earth. He's written a book about it, When Roger Met Patty. So I reached out to Bill and said, hey man, you're in this documentary. Would you come on my show and let's have a conversation about this? Because you've seen this footage that they show in this documentary. And he said, absolutely. We'll talk about it. Right. So I had him on the show, and we got into, he was interviewed for, he said, a little over 4 hours for this doc. And at the end of that interview, they showed him this 40-second clip of what opens up to what Bill said on the show was someone impersonating Bob Gimlin, sitting on top of a horse, holding a rifle or a pistol or something. He wasn't really sure. He didn't remember. He saw this like 2 years ago. And then it pans over to what we see looks like, in his estimation, a medium grade ape suit of some sort walking into the frame, walking very much like what we see Patty doing in the Patterson-Gimlin film as we know it from 67. Bill actually pointed out that he thought it was very interesting how well whoever was in this particular suit was walking, because it very much approximated what we're looking at now on the screen, which is Patty walking across the sandbar in 1967. But Bill had some issues. He said the suit was not impressive to him. It was not what we're looking at here. The body proportions were a little off. The head portion and the neck was a little off. And he opened by saying that he thought that this man that was shown in the footage was someone impersonating Bob Gimlin on a horse. It wasn't actually Bob. So we had a great conversation. He told me all the reasons that he thinks the Patterson-Gimlin film is real. And one of the main things that stuck with him was he got to hold this footage. They showed him, after his 4-hour plus interview, they show him this 40-second clip. It was sort of a gotcha moment from what I understood, the way it transpired. He did not know they were going to show him this film that nobody's ever seen before, until after he had went on record for 4 hours talking about the PG film as he knows it. And they were like, oh, but wait, there's more. We have this 40 seconds. We'd like you to take a look at this. And he was not impressed. He said, that to me is not Patty as we know her. To him, the Patterson-Gimlin film is still the Patterson-Gimlin film. But it does a couple of things for me. Bill, in my opinion, has a vested interest in the Patterson-Gimlin film being real, versus someone like Eric, who initially saw this and really brought me into the conversation, who doesn't have a vested interest, who's saying 100% he thinks that that is absolutely Patty, quote, Patty, or the suit that we know as Patty, 100% that he was convinced that the Patterson-Gimlin film is a hoax. Well, if you only had the footage, that's one thing, right? But this documentary has a little bit more than the footage. They have Patricia Patterson, Roger Patterson's widow, and his youngest son, Clint Patterson, also appear in the documentary, along with people like Bob Hieronymus, Bill Munns, Larry Lund, the late Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Bob Hieronymus, who has said for the last 57 years that he was the guy in the suit, and nobody believed him. He's also in it. And Bob Gimlin is in the documentary as well. So Bill gets to see this. He didn't think it was Patty. So I went back to the well and I called Eric and said, hey, man, would you come on the show? And I literally interviewed Eric as we're recording this about 2.5 hours ago. And we got very in depth with what he saw during that 40 seconds. And he is 100% all in. Basically, Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles could see this is Patty, as we see Patty in the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film. It's in this film that was filmed at some point in time. That's kind of the other rub that we can sort of get into if you guys want to hear.
Well, yeah, that was a question I had. So I did, Eric, is that the, what is it, Harry Road, Harry Man Road? So, what is his channel?
He's the Harry Man Road YouTube
Harry Man
channel.
Road. Right, exactly. So I watched his. Now, he was adamant when he came out and was, speaking of, all right, guys, this video or this movie that they just came out with, the Capturing Bigfoot, is definitely proves that this was a hoax. So he was adamant about that. Now I've watched a bunch of other videos where, people are saying, well, no, because of this, because of that. One of the things I found interesting was the video was claiming, the documentary, claiming that it was definitely filmed in 1966 because of a mark on the film, correct?
Yeah, so that's one of the things I was getting to and I wanted to talk about. That's one of the things I talked to Bill Munns about. Bill got to hold this, and he had a loop. They provided him with a loop, and he was able to look at the film, and it is definitely manufactured in 1966. But Bill's point was, and I think this is a little bit of a red herring that is sweeping through the community, is, yeah, the film was definitely manufactured in 1966, but there's no proof that it was shot in 66 or 67 or 68 or 1972.
72.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I mean, that's just a marking when a film is not produced but created, like when Kodak would have manufactured that film.
Absolutely. And to that point, my point has been from the beginning, it makes a difference not to me when it was filmed. I don't care when it was filmed. what year it was filmed, how it was filmed, who filmed it. I don't care. The only thing that really matters is what's in the 40 seconds of film. And if we see the suit, i.e. Patty as we know her from 1967 in this piece of film, she's not supposed to be there. She's only supposed to appear in one piece of film that I'm aware of, and that was shot on October 20th, 1967 by Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. So if there's anything that even remotely looks like Patty, because we've all seen, if you've been around the Bigfoot community for any time, you've seen those horrific suits that Philip Morris from here in my home state of North Carolina claimed to have sold Roger Patterson. Some of those ridiculous recreation videos that are out there with that horrific suit that looks nothing like Patty. Because I don't think Philip Morris made the suit. I think somebody else probably made the suit. I think actually Roger and Bob probably put the suit together. That's just my personal opinion. If this turns out to be what I think it is, I don't think Philip Morris actually sold them the suit that we see in the Patterson-Gimlin film. I think that's why he struggled to recreate it all these years and was never able to properly do that, because I don't think he built it in the first place. I think this was a homemade job that these guys put together and fooled the world, in my opinion, if this film turns out to be what I've been told that it is. Because I'm not making any declarative statements. I've not done that on my show, and I'm not going to do it here. I'm not saying the Patterson-Gimlin film is fake or hoaxed, but I'm saying to you, if that 40 seconds is as Eric has described it, it's pretty damning in my opinion, no matter when it was filmed, because if it shows Bob Gimlin there, Roger Patterson's supposed to be operating the camera. It's alleged or been said that it's Al Diatley that's actually wearing the suit at that point, because in the Capturing Bigfoot documentary, they show this 40-second clip to Bob Hieronymus. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's absolutely the suit, but that's not me wearing it in that clip. I'm the one in the Patterson-Gimlin film. I don't know who that is, but that's definitely the same suit. So people have said that it's probably most likely Al Diatley, which was Roger Patterson's brother-in-law. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at in the Bigfoot community now. Everybody's coming out of the woodwork. You're either standing with Bob and Patty or you're against Bob and Patty. And I think everything's getting lost in the minutia, in my opinion, because I stand with the truth, right? That's all I've ever looked for when it comes to the subject. And I think that these people that are out there, and some of them are friends of mine in this community, that are calling for boycotts of the film. They're attacking Eric Palacios personally, making threats. You know, they're threatening the people that have made the film and talking bad about them and their families. And it's like, guys, if there's evidence that could show something more to the Patterson-Gimlin film, I think we need to be open to that and at least take a look at it before we jump on this bandwagon. I know it's a personal thing. It's personal to me. I want this film to be real, but I've always went back and forth on its authenticity way before this. I've been on record for years saying that I wasn't sure if it was a real piece of film or not. Ultimately, I did decide within the last couple of years. I went back and looked at all of the interviews that Bob Gimlin has done over the course of his life after filming Patty. I went all the way back into the archives to day 6 after they filmed Patty. 6 days after they filmed this PG film as we know it, they're on a radio show in Canada talking about it. It's Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. So I compared that to what Bob said about the story in 2019. And then I would pull an audio from an interview he did in 2010. It's kind of my cop brain. That's how my brain works as I go and look at this. And I'm comparing what he said. Well, you know, he got the day wrong. He got the day of the week wrong. He kept saying in the interview, I think it was 2019, that they filmed Patty on a Saturday. Well, October 20th, 1967 was actually a Friday. So just little inconsistencies like that over the years that I attributed, like most people do, to age. At that point, even in 2019, Bob was, hitting 80, right? So I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So him forgetting the day of the week, 57 years later, give the man some grace. Okay. I'm kind of siding with Bob, because here's the thing. Nobody's ever been able to prove that this film is hoaxed. Nobody's had the smoking gun. Nobody's been able to come out and definitively say, that's a man in a suit and this is why. Now they do that, but do they really prove it? Not really to me. So I just finally said, hey, you know what? I believe what Bob says until somebody shows me something otherwise. Well, here we are, March 27th, 2026. capturing Bigfoot apparently has something more. And as I was saying earlier, not just the film, but they also have Clint Patterson and Patricia Patterson in the film saying that the film is a hoax. This is Roger Patterson's wife and his youngest son. They're both saying in the film that it's hoaxed. So it's
right. And that's what, I watched Eric's videos there on it. And I mean, he was pretty, and I don't know Eric, like you obviously, you know him, I guess, more on a personal level. I follow him because, I'm always into all this kind of stuff, just like to keep up. And he was, he was ready to die on the hill that definitely that was a hoax. This documentary proves it, and that is that. Sorry, guys, it is what it is. Now you have other people coming out dying on the opposite hill. So, I'm kind of curious where do you stand after talking to these people? Like, what are you leaning towards?
Well, I'm leaning towards the evidence, wherever the evidence takes us. Again, without seeing it, it's very difficult for me to say definitively what is on this new footage. But again, I'll say if it's as described, I will go to the point of saying that's very damning. Because again, if it were one of those suits that we've all seen in those horrible recreations, immediately you look at that and go, that's not the same thing. But if it's the same, I mean, we all played that game as kids in school very early on, right? One of these things is not like the other. It's either a banana or it's not a banana. It's an apple or it's an apple. It's either patty and it's patty or it's not. So
right.
If that's the case, then of course I'm not going to die on the hill if it's going to be real for the rest of my life. That's the evidence. Because here's the other thing that I've been saying to everybody since day one, even before any of this. I've been talking about this for 5-6 years. Patty can die. Patty cannot be real. The Patterson-Gimlin film could be a horrible hoax, literally the hoax of the century. And Sasquatch is still real. Those things can exist in the same world.
Right.
Patty
it's one of those,
never,
two things can be right at
one.
the same time. Two things can be wrong at the same. That one doesn't necessarily negate the other.
Exactly. Patty was never the only Sasquatch that was ever existed. Some people think that. I've talked to people who literally said, I used to think she was the only one. She was the one in California. You're nowhere else. But that was never the case for the rest of us who knew better. So those two things can be true. Patty can be a hoax, and everybody else has their experiences, and they're real.
Right, and I agree with that. And that was one of the reasons I really wanted to reach out to you, was after watching your videos, you were looking at this down to where you didn't seem like you had an invested interest either way. So you were looking at this like right down the center, saying, let's look at the facts. And that's really why, was hoping and really happy that you came on with us, because so many people are, they're choosing one side or the other. There is no down the center of, hey, let's wait. Now, when does this film documentary come out, like, to the public?
That's a very good question. I know there was supposed to be another screening coming up, but I'm not sure that's happening. I don't know really when it's going to be released. There's a lot of things swirling around. That's why I'm hoping to get Mark Evans, who directed the film, on the show so we can have those kind of conversations. If they're not doing more screenings, I've done documentaries. I had a documentary that just came out earlier this year, My Bigfoot Life, that I did a couple of years ago. Once you get somebody to pick that up, you kind of stop screening it, because the screenings are almost like a, hey, look what I've got, do you want to buy it kind of thing.
Right.
So I think if they're not going to do any screenings, and I haven't seen any more screenings lined up after Austin, that may or may not be a good sign that they might have got somebody to distribute it. I have no idea, but that's why I'm working to get with Mark and get him on the show, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping that'll happen, so I can ask those kind of conversations, because I think there's a lot more interest than they probably initially thought they were going to have at this film. When the conversation I had earlier with Eric, he's like, they screened it in a place that had 30 seats when he went to the screen.
Exactly.
So it was very small, but there was a turnout. They ended up having to show it on an additional screen, and Eric just slid into there only because he had actually met Mark and one of the other producers on their way in, and he kind of had a conversation with them. And they made sure that they came back and got him because he had been standing in line for 6 hours to get his seat. So I think
Mark is the producer, director,
yes,
right, of the film. Now, how did he like come across and, able to put all this together? Do you know that? Or, how was he the person who was able to do this?
Interesting story that they cover in the documentary. He actually teaches a documentary class out at a college out in Washington State. One of his colleagues at the college, her dad worked at Boeing and had the film that we're talking about, this 40-second clip, in his safe for over 50 years. And allegedly, what I was told was he got it from Roger Patterson. So I have a little theory on that that's completely subjective. It is complete conjecture. There's no fact based anywhere. It just struck me after having some conversations about this that I'll may or may not get into. But basically, in a nutshell, her father passed away. This guy that worked at Boeing that had this clip that was given. Somehow he acquired it from either Al Diatley, Roger Patterson, somewhere in and around 66 or 67. He passed away. And his wife kept it in the safe, and they were forbidden to talk about it in their house because allegedly, according to the daughter that brought it to Mark Evans, the mom was really upset that her dad was involved or her husband was involved in this potential hoax, and she didn't know if there was going to be any legal ramifications or some other, she didn't want his name tarnished, that kind of thing. But the daughter thought there's some value there, whether it be monetarily, historically, whatever. So she ends up taking it to Mark Evans at the college. Mark he's born and raised in the Washington State area, Pacific Northwest. He's no dummy to Bigfoot. He's been around the block. He's aware of the Patterson-Gimlin film. He immediately recognizes what he's got here, which apparently looks like Patty to him. So he rushes, gets the thing digitized, and they kind of, at my understanding, built the documentary around that. His next call, I think, was to Clint Patterson and or Patricia Patterson or someone close to them, taking a shot in the dark that they might actually want to talk to him because they basically told everybody to go pound sand for the last almost 6 decades. Nobody wanted to talk about this film. But to his surprise, Clint says, not only yes, but my mom told me about 10 years ago that this was a hoax, and I've been thinking about writing a book and wanting to tell everybody about it. Let's do it. So now you've got something, right? You've got the film, which appear, to some people is a smoking gun. Now you've got somebody very close, i.e. Roger Patterson's youngest son. And then they eventually take that to Patricia Patterson. There was a big fallout between her and Clint. Apparently, there was a lot of personal turmoil, and they apparently show letters in the documentary that she wrote to him, disowning him as a son because he was trying to come out with this information. And basically, this was her way of surviving. I mean, she was making a lot of money licensing this film over the last almost 6 decades. Matter of fact, I heard, I don't know if it was Eric, somebody told me that I think Mark and the filmmakers paid her like $30,000 to use the Patterson-Gimlin film in this documentary. So she's still making money off of this film.
Right.
Obviously, she didn't want him to come out and tell anybody that it was a hoax. So, yeah, there's all of that going on in the documentary as an added layer to this. But that's kind of how he got there. It was just by chance that he worked with this girl. Her dad had this film. She brings it to Mark. He recognizes what it is, and boom, here we are. Like 2 years later, we're having this conversation about his documentary.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I'm like, even now in the chat right now, I'm going down through here reading and, welcoming everybody out there too. Thanks a lot for being here. Sitting here, watching even some people in the chat. Shout out to all you guys. Even they have very bold feelings about this either way in the chat as well. Right now reading, people seem to, without seeing the film, already have their minds made up, which I think is funny. Like you brought up a minute ago, saying that some people are saying boycott the film. I don't understand how you could, without seeing something, choose to boycott it or disprove it either way. Like I would think you would want to watch it regardless of how you felt about it.
I think what's happened in the Bigfoot community, and this happens in a lot of communities, it's not just specific to the Bigfoot community, but there is a lot of the Church of Bigfoot sort of mentality. It becomes, it's not a hobby. It's not, for me, it's a job. I mean, my job is Bigfoot. That's all I do. But for a lot of people, it becomes their church. It becomes a sort of religion. And the people in this, the evidence in this, in some cases, like the Patterson-Gimlin film, even to some people, the Freeman footage, some of the trackways, some of the very famous trackways, including the Patterson-Gimlin film trackway. There wasn't just a film. There's also a whole another set of secondary evidence in the trackway that single-handedly, by the way, convinced the late Dr. Jeff Meldrum that this film was real without even seeing the film. He would have been convinced, he said he was convinced, that just by looking at the trackway that he examined from the PG film site, that is a real live creature and it is a Sasquatch. So you have that, and then people take that evidence, they take those statements, they take the people, and they put them up on pedestals, and they become sort of sacred cows, if you will. And these people sort of worship, in a way, Bigfoot more than just enjoy it or take it in or research it or any of those things. So, yeah, it's really difficult when you start challenging people's beliefs, and especially if they're really invested in it the way that some people are in the subject, in those things and those people. Bob Gimlin's still alive. He is the last standing person, maybe arguably besides Bob Hieronymus, who claims he was there. But as we know it, Bob is supposed to be the only one left that knows what happened that day because he was there. And this also affects him. I mean, he's in the film and he's still alive, and he's got a lot of questions from a lot of people right now that are, including me. I mean, I've reached out to Bob and tried to get him on the show. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on, but ultimately that's what it boils down to. People are dismissing this and they don't want other people to see it because they're so invested in believing that the PG film is real. Nothing's going to shake that. Those people are never going to be swayed, no matter what the documentary shows, no matter what anybody says. They're always going to believe what they believe, and that's unfortunate, but that's their right. I think the only thing that we can wish for or hope for, at least in the community, is that it's a little less divided after the film comes out, because everything is subjective right now. You literally have the only person I know in the community who's seen this. I mean, I interviewed Bill Munn. He was in the documentary, and he hasn't seen the documentary. He's not seen the final product. And if you've been in any of those kind of things, it's very compartmentalized in certain ways. The documentary that I was in a couple of years ago, there was filming in the UK that I wasn't a part of, and then we filmed in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know what happened over there. I had to wait to see it in the doc. So it's very compartmentalized. So even that is another layer on top of it. So it's a lot, but I think everybody just needs to pump the brakes. If I were giving out free advice, which I am right now.
Right. You are giving out free advice, sir.
Pump the brakes. Just watch the film. Watch the documentary. Take the evidence in for yourself with your eyeballs and your ears, and take in the totality of the circumstances. And if you walk away after watching the documentary and you think that the Patterson-Gimlin film is still real, kudos to you. If you think that the Patterson-Gimlin film is a hoax, that's your prerogative. But just be respectful of everybody's opinions. And this attacking people and going after people publicly and privately and their families and all this jazz, it's Bigfoot, people. At the end of the day, it's Bigfoot, okay? It's not world politics. We're not starting wars. We're just talking about Bigfoot. It's okay to disagree, but just be nice. Try to play nice in the woods. Bigfoot wants you to play nice. Please.
Well, you know, they're going to show the footage, even if they say they don't like it, because they got to disprove something, right? So they'll show it, try to disprove it. The people that like it will try to prove it, and it'll keep going on for years to come.
That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to continue no matter what. There will be people 40 years from now, probably sitting on a podcast like this, talking about when that 40 seconds that proved the Patterson-Gimlin film was a hoax was filmed. Was it 66, 67, 68, 82? Was it 2012? When was it? They're going to be everybody's going to be debating it, just like we have the Patterson-Gimlin film. Unfortunately, some people aren't going to be swayed by the evidence. It is what it is. It's just like a court of law. My first book, I wrote a chapter called "Can We Convict Sasquatch in a Court of Law? Are they real or not?" If we were just going to take it to trial today, is there enough evidence to prove that Bigfoot's real? You get a jury of 12 people, maybe it is today. You get 2 people that are different on that jury, maybe not. Everything to people is so subjective. So yeah, even after the film comes out, even if it does show what Eric says, which I have no reason to doubt what Eric said he saw in the video, you see that. Either Bill Munns and Eric saw the same thing. They saw the same 40 seconds, but they have a completely different take. Is that take because one has a vested interest in the film being real and the other one doesn't? That may be the case. I don't know. Maybe it's just for other reasons. Maybe they truly see something different. Maybe Bill's looking from a different lens because of his background in special effects. I don't know.
Well, let's be honest. Let's look at this. We live in the age 2026, the age of social media. Now, 20 years ago, it was easy to admit that you were wrong because you were only admitting you were wrong to the 5 people who you spoke to something about. Now, everything they have, these people have died on these hills, and I keep saying died on these hills, but that's how it seems to be, have created these whole careers, futures, put their names on these things socially to millions of viewers out there. There's, television on why they're experts in this, and this is what it is, and this is the only way it can be. For them to have to, do like that Homer Simpson meme, where you see them backing into the hedges, doing that. Nobody's going to do that. It's 2026. Nobody can admit they were wrong. I mean, I was wrong once last year. It took until October, so I'm doing pretty good. I've made it, 4 months almost this year without it.
Lies.
But I do know what it's like not to want to admit that you're wrong. So I think that plays a big role in where people are coming from.
Yeah, it definitely does, and that's certainly correct. I just think people need to grow up. That's what it boils down to. I've been wrong. I've said to people plenty of times, I've been wrong in the past. I actually get crap on my show a lot. It was more early on in the early days for changing my opinion on something. I would have an opinion, and then my job is to interview and talk to people. I would talk to more people, get more information, get more evidence, more data, and it would make me adjust my thinking, my opinion, my hypothesis. I can't tell you the scientific definition. I can't tell you the Webster definition right now for the scientific method, but I know a lot of scientists. I co-host a podcast with a doctor who's a PhD. He'll tell you it's pretty scientific to take in new information and adjust your hypothesis based on the new data. So,
right. I mean, we got a mad scientist right here next to us, right underneath me right here. And, and okay, so speaking of, one of the funniest things, and we're not getting into, those topics that are not allowed to be talked on YouTube, but it is really funny how for the past forever, in the history of science, that science has always been an evolving thing. I mean, we can even look at it with what we see right now with, say, ancient civilizations going. And some of these archaeologists, the scientists in the thing, they are so stuck in believing that this is the said thing. These were definitely tombs. These were definitely, all the different things. Oh, no, it's exactly this many years old. Oh, no, this didn't happen. Things like Göbekli Tepe and things like that, where they're looking at it and they can't fathom to change their minds. Only in the past 15 years, 10 years, 4 or 5 years really, has, the science. This is the science. Science is like a concrete wall. It cannot be changed. And that's not science. Science is supposed to be an evolving thing that we learn and keep going with.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But yeah, I just don't understand people that don't want to see the evidence. I just can't fathom that. That should be a huge red flag. I think I said it earlier. It's a huge red flag to me if someone doesn't want to see this film because it's challenging what they've already decided that they believe. That's a big deal for me. And I frankly, I'll have a conversation with you, but it's probably not, I'm not going to really listen to what you have to say. If you're not willing to take any more evidence in to make an informed decision, there's nothing for us to talk about at that point. And again, I'll say, I want the Patterson-Gimlin film to be real. I've always wanted it to be real because I believe in the subject. I've had my own experiences with these creatures. So that can happen. It can be real or not, and your experiences still stand, but people just have a really hard time with that, and they're just latching on. And I think there's a lot of people in the community that are painting themselves into a very small and very tight and very claustrophobic corner that unfortunately they're going to have a really hard time getting their way out of when this film drops, because I think there's some things in there that are going to make people question some of the things that they're saying right now on their social media.
Right. Yeah, and they are saying some harsh words. Gutters, you got any questions here on this? I know you've been sitting up there quietly.
Nope, I don't. I'm listening and taking it all in. But
Okay, just making sure. Old man, LW, you got anything you want to chime in on here?
I was just going to tell you, it's like the UFO community. They all listen to Greer, right? And you got this boogosphere. Well, the thing's a hoax. We all know it's a hoax, but they keep going on that it's something else, and they don't show any scientific tests. It's real simple. Did you structure it right or did you not? And does it have any energy coming from it or not? It's not that hard of a test. You know what I mean? Not with the tools they have these days. So, yeah, I guess the film's that way too. When you look at Bigfoot, you know what I mean? Is it moving correctly? Are the body mechanics right? Are you comparing it to the right thing? Yes or no? I mean, there's a quick thing, you know what I mean? Some people say yes, some people say no, you know what I mean? And it's not always the body mechanics of a human or something like that. It's of something else, so you have to relate it. I don't think anybody really looks at that. They just look at, hey, do I want to believe this or not? Do I like this story or not? And then you got the other side. I like this other part of the story, so I like to tell it better than I like the part of this story that I like to tell here. And that's generally what happens in there. And then you get somebody to come along that just destroys every single person and then just shows them, hey, this is what it really is, and I can actually recreate this. And then everything blows up. That's kind of like what's going on here. Hey, I can recreate it because I can show the person and show the suit on the person and moving. And if that's the case in what's in the film, then that's the smoking gun, right? That's what we're all looking for. That's what somebody says is there, and that's what somebody says is not. But that's the exact publicity you need to push this thing, isn't it?
Exactly. And those are some of the kind of conversations people are having. I talked about the secondary evidence earlier when I was interviewing Eric. I asked him about the trackway because in addition to the film, you had this trackway that was found allegedly where they filmed Patty. She had made these footprints, and that convinced Jeff Meldrum that she was a real live Sasquatch. But here's the thing, if the film is proven to be a hoax because they've got this, what appears to be the same suit in two different places on two different people at two different times, then any of the secondary evidence is gone. It doesn't matter. All the debates that we've had over the years, are the footprints real? Is that really a muscle? I mean, people have said that there's some herniated muscle or something on her thigh and that she had been shot, and they see all these things in the film. Well, none of that really matters if it's a suit and it's just a dude in a suit. So, and that was the other thing that Bill Munns said on the show that kind of confused me a little bit, but I kind of understood where he was coming from, or at least where he was trying to come from. He says, look, you can't use this new piece of film, this 40 seconds or whatever that we have, to prove that the Patterson-Gimlin film is a hoax, because nobody's been able to prove it any other way. So I had to stop and think about that for a second, and I was like, no, I didn't really push him as hard as I should have on the show because I wasn't thinking quick enough on my feet. But after I had a few minutes to think about that, I was like, well, I don't think you have to prove it's a hoax two different ways. if there's a suit and there's a guy in a suit and you can prove that it's in two different places at two different times and it's only supposed to be in one place one time, I think that's enough to prove that it's a hoax. So
unless the suit shows that it fit differently on the person than it does in the film, then it looks like maybe they were out to do a hoax and found in the real thing. So that would be interesting.
Real quick, does everybody make sure that nobody has a YouTube tab open in their browsers or anything like that? Because I am getting an echo back. I'm not sure where that's coming from. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but just, everybody make sure we don't have, like, somebody's not running, something like every now and then you'll Bluetooth to a soundboard or something like that and you'll hear an echo. Real quick there, Brian, Dead Fish in the chat, he wants to know what the name of your documentary was. Some people wanting to check out what you were speaking of there, the one you were involved in.
My Bigfoot Life.
Okay, so My Bigfoot Life, and where would they find that at?
You can stream it on, I think it's on Apple now, Hulu, Amazon Prime.
Okay. Yeah, there you go, Dead Fish. Good to see you too, Dead Fish. I like that name, Dead Fish Cheese Spread. Some of these YouTube names, they astonish me. Sorry to interrupt there. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate all y'all being here. 185 people watching right now across all these different platforms we're streaming on. That is awesome to see. So we do thank Brian for being up here with us, telling us all this cool stuff that we didn't know about. So what do you think will be the like when this comes out? I mean, are we going to have people breaking down, or are they just going to still stick to their guns? I think they're going to stick to their guns, and they're just going to pick this documentary apart.
That's kind of what I feel. I think the people that are already convinced that it's real, there may be a few that will look at it critically and say, yeah, okay, I see it. I got it. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I think you'll have some of that, but I think by and large, the camps are going to be there. It's just like the flesh and blood camp versus the woo camp or high strangeness camp in Bigfoot. That's always been there. It's always going to be there. Some people move in and out. They flow. They're a little bit more fluid than others, but by and large, people stick with what they already believe. It's a beautiful place. It's a place of zen for a lot of people. It's very comfortable there. Everybody agrees with you. So you don't have to argue. You don't have to make any points. You don't have to make any sense. You can just say whatever and everybody agrees and everybody's happy. But there are some critical thinkers in this, like me. I will be one of those people that I sided with. I eventually begrudgingly came down on the side. I think the film may be authentic, based solely, honestly, on what Bob has to say and what he's stuck to for almost 6 decades. But I'm going to be the one who takes in the information. And if the information and the evidence shows me something otherwise, then I'm going to come out of the screening and say it's a hoax or it's not based on what I see. So, but I think, unfortunately, you hit the nail on the head. I think those people that are already in those camps are going to be there after watching the doc. Unfortunately, I think some people will not go watch it. I think there will be a lot of people that won't go see it just on principle, which I think is kind of sad, but I think there's a lot of people that are going to say publicly they're not going to see it and they're going to be watching it secretly.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'll happen too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I think a lot of people will come to that. They'll say publicly, boycott it. And it's like with any boycott, people tell you to boycott stuff, which I think boycotts are stupid. Get what you want, do what you want to do. But there'll be people boycotting stuff like that, and at the same time, like boycott Burger King, and at the same time, they're eating a Whopper every night for dinner. Yeah, it's they're gonna do it this way.
It's the same trolls that leave me horrible reviews every single week on the show that they hate, that they never listen to every week.
Yeah.
Those are your biggest fans. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, I do love a good troll. I will say that, like a good troll that'll get in there and say something witty and funny and, get under your skin. I do like that because I've been known to be quite a troll myself at times. So I do like a good troll, but I don't like, oh my God, just the people nonsensical, you're a dummy, or something like, it's like, come on, at least do better. Do better with your trolls.
The good trolls live under bridges. The bad trolls live in their parents' basement.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
On the internet.
And a lot of them in the parents' basement, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I want to be in my parents' basement. You spend your first half of
Save
your
a
life
bunch of
trying to
money.
get out of your house, and then the second half you're like, man, that sure wasn't that bad. I wouldn't mind going back,
Oh, my kids are all over that right now, man. They all want to save all the money. I mean, stay there at Dad's house. He cooks every night. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're all over that one.
Gig.
Oh, shit, I'm moving in with you. Everybody's moving in with old man Bills. Let's get there. Let's get there. So, Brian, you think, like you said before, I mean, whether this is proven to be wrong or whatever, no matter what this documentary means, I think what a lot of people in Bigfoot communities are missing is it doesn't really take away. You can be, I believe, you can be not, I believe. You can just like Bigfoot because of what Bigfoot is and the communities that it surrounds itself in. But neither takes away from anything. I mean, just because one thing is fake doesn't mean that everything else is fake or vice versa.
And I think the one thing that it does do, and I've said this for many years, I think we need to really scrutinize evidence. I've said it so many times. I am no longer skeptical about Bigfoot. I've had my experiences. I know these things are real. I am skeptical about people and their evidence. End of story. So I think we need to look at everything critically. If somebody brings evidence, I have cast my own tracks on our property.
Right.
First person I sent them to, Cliff Barrickman, Jeff Meldrum. I wanted them to take a look at them. But I have a little bit of an issue, and I've done shows about gatekeeping in the Bigfoot community. It's great to have go-to people like Cliff and Jeff. I mean, Jeff was a professor of anatomy at Idaho State University. He's a tenured professor. Do I want to probably send him a track because he specializes in foot morphology? Yeah, I'd probably want to do that. So that makes sense. But ultimately, and I've said this to Cliff and even Jeff to some degree, you've been wrong before. You've been fooled before. Everybody's human. You are ultimately trying to validate, if you will, put a stamp of approval on the footprint of a novel species that's not recognized by science, right, and many would say doesn't exist. So can you be wrong about that? Sure, you can. So I think this should prove to us that we need to go even further when it comes to extraordinary claims requiring extraordinary evidence, and scrutinizing people a little bit closer when it comes to the evidence, in my opinion. So, there's plenty of other things out there that people debate all the time. The Freeman footage, we've been talking about that since 92, I think. So there's plenty of stuff out there that is still being talked about, but I think you need to look a little bit closer, Well,
I think also the genetic code allows for this to happen. You think about it, you get gigantism, right? So people are getting taller all the time. There's people that are 7-foot women, 7-foot men. They have babies that are going to be a lot taller, right? You have people who have hair all over their body, and they were in the circus. So that used to be a thing back in the day. You get circus, you get freak show, and then you go out there and you see people that you don't normally see. But that allows to see the genetic condition take place. So when you say it's tall, has big feet, you know what I mean? Like Andre the Giant out there. If I saw Andre the Giant in a gorilla suit, I'd be scared out of my daylight mind and get the hell out of there. And that guy could throw a tree at you, you know what I mean? So I'm not disputing any of that. So could that be real in life if they had those genetic markers in their DNA? Absolutely. We just don't understand it. That's the problem. We have all the pieces. We see every marker that comes out. We don't understand it. And we haven't seen people like it commonly. But could they be out there? Yeah, taking a shower in every single waterfall? Sure. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, that was one of the things when I first had Jeff Meldrum on the show for the first time years ago. We talked about that, and he would say to me, I'd say people find tracks in places, and he would say, it seems like you shouldn't find a track in some of those areas and it wouldn't be human, but you'd be surprised. There are tons of people. I interviewed somebody recently who he was 8 miles deep and he ran into 2 hikers that were hiking barefoot in Appalachia.
It's like you got Shaquille O'Neal out there hiking barefoot, And
That touche. Probably not Shaq out there hiking barefoot, but you can see people see these smaller prints. I know people who have claimed to have cast what they call juvenile prints. They're basically 8 or 9, 10 inches. They're the size of either a teenage boy or a young man or whatever. It's within the human scale.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. People don't think that way. They don't think critically enough to say, if I'm here, that's what I say to people all the time. They'll say, I found this out there and there's no way it could have been a human. Well, where'd you find it? Well, I was like 8 miles deep in the woods. Well, you were there.
Yeah.
If you were there, then somebody else could have been there before.
Right.
I mean, is that possible? Yeah. And they're like, you see the smoke coming out of the ears, like, oh man, maybe that is, yeah. So
now, Big Dog Ma in the chat, she wants to know. She says Brian has cast his tracks of Bigfoot in North Carolina. So she's asking questions about you've actually found tracks and cast them.
yes, those on the shelf behind me are the 2 tracks that came off of my property
Oh, okay, cool.
about 3 years ago in October.
All right. And what do people do? You pour concrete? Is that how you do that? Or I've never done that. So
That is actually, it's just plaster of Paris. Those are,
okay.
yeah, I usually cast in the field. Ultra Cal 30 is what I use in the field. Those are just plaster replicas of the originals that were cast off the property. Ultra
got you.
Cal is a lot harder. It's more, it's not, I mean, some people say it gets more detail. Some people say it's less detail. Everybody has their preferences, but I like it because it's a little bit more stable. It's harder than just regular plaster of Paris. It's a little bit heavier and denser. So if you're in the field, you're trying to cast any print, whether it's a dog print or a panther print or a person's print or a Bigfoot, whatever. The Ultra Cal to me is a little bit more durable, so they don't break as easily when you're taking them out of the ground and stuff like that. The plaster of Paris is great for replicating and sharing those casts, selling them, whatever. So most of the ones you're going to get at a Bigfoot festival or convention or something like that, it's going to be plaster of Paris.
So I've always wondered this. So when people do okay, so you're out there wandering in the woods, hiking, doing whatever, going and looking. So do you carry that with you, like at all times? If you're going out and doing that, you have the plaster of Paris mix ready to go in your backpack, just in case you find something.
If you're hardcore, yes.
Okay.
It depends on where I'm at, what I'm doing, but I do have a little kit that I will carry with me. It's just basically a plastic bag with enough plaster of Paris, probably 2 pounds, and a bottle of water, like one of those big bottles of water, just in case, because I've ran across prints that I didn't cast because I didn't have material. Probably one of the best prints that I've ever found was on our property here 4 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago. Just hiking on the property. It was in a low area. There was standing water in it. I thought it was pareidolia. I thought it was like a pareidolia footprint. I just thought it was cool. So I was going to take a few pictures of it. And the closer I got, I was seeing toes and a heel. And so I snapped a couple of pictures. We kept on with our hike. And about 8 or 9 months later, I was out speaking at a conference in Idaho. It was me, Cliff Barrickman, Jeff Meldrum, and Michael Freeman. And we did our thing. We had dinner that night, and the conference was the next day. So we went out and had some drinks, and I was showing Cliff some stuff in my phone, and that picture was in there. And he was like, "Man, did you cast that?" And I was like, "No, that's just pareidolia." And he was like, "No, dude, that's definitely a Sasquatch footprint." So he starts showing me all the details, and I'm like, "Holy shit, those are toes." Oh, wow, that is yeah. So the best one I probably ever, even better than the ones I actually cast on the property, I didn't cast because I didn't have material. So if you're into it and you're serious and you do have the opportunity to come upon some tracks, I would take some with you just in case.
Well, that's what I always wondered, because I've gone hiking in the woods, going and doing stuff, and you come across things, but you're not prepared. And what would you do? Go back, find the stuff, then try to figure out where. Yeah, you know what I mean. It would be Now, do you have any like on your property there? You've caught a couple things. Do you ever put out like trail cams or anything like that?
I've put out trail cams multiple times. Never caught anything on trail cam. Had some weird things. I've had things disappear off of a stump that I've put out, like apples and things like that. Trail cam pointed at it, nothing on it. Just weird stuff. But no, never really. We've heard audio, we've heard vocalizations, but never captured audio. The footprints were really it. It was a weird thing. I got those footprints out of an area where just outside the house here, we have a tiny house. We live in a 400 square foot tiny house, but we have 40 acres. So we live in the middle of the woods. And about 65 yards from here, we had a small chicken coop where we kept the baby chickens that weren't ready to go in with the bigger chickens. So we would brood them up here closer to the house. And I had a little small pail of food out there, probably 10 pounds of chicken food that we had that was separate from the other girls down here. And I would come out for 3 days in a row, and something or someone had picked up this bucket of chicken food and moved it like 30 yards, 25 yards, 15 yards this way. Happened 3 nights in a row. I'd come out, it was moved. Lid still on it. It wasn't open. Nothing had gotten into it. It was just like picked up in a different area. It's like a little metal trash can, basically.
Right.
Third day I go out and I look out and I see it. It's about 25 yards from the chicken coop and it's turned over and the lid's kind of off of it. I'm like, damn, this is 3 days in a row. So I go to walk towards it, and we had gotten some ducks that season when we got in chickens. And there's a cool little low area that collects water right off the runoff from down at the top of our property. We have creeks on the property, but this runs perfectly. I dug out like a 6 foot by 4 foot area that's about 3 feet deep. I was going to make a little natural pond for the ducks. So I'm walking directly towards this bucket that's turned over, and it had rained a couple of days before, and there was a bunch of silt and dirt that had washed in and had filled up probably 1.5 feet of accumulation. Those 2 footprints were right there. Boom. One left, one right, on the way to this chicken coop where this was moved from. And I literally thought I was being punked by Ashton Kutcher. I stopped and looked around like, this is not happening. This is 65 yards from my house, and it's perfectly right there. So I didn't tell anybody for a while because I'm the Bigfoot podcast dude, right? Who just happens to buy 40 acres in the middle of nowhere, Western North Carolina, who hears vocalizations, and now he's casting footprints of Bigfoot. I know what the optics are here, right? So I didn't tell anybody for a while. I mean, probably 6 months. I told some close friends when I cast the tracks, and I'd sent pictures to Cliff, and he actually, when I replicated, it's a process to go through to make a mother mold to recreate these casts, because you cast them one time, and if you don't make a mother mold to replicate them, that's it. You've got one set of casts, that's it. So I had to make the mother mold. It took me about 4 weeks to do that, and then I got the first set out, and I immediately shipped the first set to Cliff. He did some scans. He's got a cool 3D model scanner thing he does, and he sent those to Jeff. So Jeff was in the point of, he was retiring, actually. I don't know if he ever told anybody that publicly, but he was getting ready to retire this year from Idaho State, and he was downsizing everything and tried to digitize all of his foot casts because he's not going to have the office space in his house to have 300 casts like he had at Idaho State. So I actually talked to him about this about 3 weeks before he died when I saw him up in Gatlinburg at the conference up there. But anyway, so yeah, Cliff, I got those. I had him digitize them, send them over to Jeff. But yeah, I mean, this is 65 yards from the house, and I thought I was being punked because they were just too good. And
right,
I know what the optics are. So, but eventually I can't, in good faith, ask people to come on and share everything that happens to them on my show, in my opinion, without sharing what's happening to me. So, and of course, as soon as I put it out there, it's, oh, you're faking, you're a hoaxer, this, that, or the other. Well, I don't care. Whatever.
So have you ever been to Expedition Bigfoot there in Blue Ridge? I got the shirt on there. Have you ever gone there and checked that out north of Atlanta there?
Yes, I've been in there multiple times. David actually sells my books in there. So,
oh, cool.
Last time I went through, I think I went through Tennessee. I was coming back from some gig I was doing, some speaking gig or something, and I drove past there, and I popped in to hopefully see David. He wasn't there, but see if he needed some more of my books. And the place was absolutely slammed with people.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get in the parking lot. So he's definitely doing a great job out there. And
I like David. David's a good guy. when I first started doing live stuff on YouTube, he was one of the first people who came on here with me. So I had, he came on and talked. He talked a lot about Dogman, though, which he's
David's
very
got
much big
some,
into Dogman. Yeah.
He's got some out there theories on Bigfoot.
Yeah.
He and I went around a couple of times about some of the. We don't necessarily agree on everything, but we disagree very nicely.
Right. Well, I don't agree with everybody or anybody 100% anywhere. Not even myself. I find myself arguing with myself a lot of the times. I normally win the argument, but at least it is that. But yeah, I like David. Shout out if anybody's ever around the Atlanta area, go up there and check out Expedition Bigfoot there, right outside of Blue Ridge, Georgia. Very cool place. Super nice guy. Shout out David. There you go.
So hold on, you didn't even see the trash can move? Like I would understand if you didn't see like the Bigfoot or something, right? But like the trash can you could see normally. So that didn't show up on the camera as movement or anything?
Oh, I didn't have cameras out in that area.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, the trail cam stuff was all. I had some weird gifting things that showed up on the property that were. It was just weird. On a trail that we walk the dogs around every day, but this was way back farther in the woods. It's probably another 300-400 yards away from where this is, and I only put the trail cams up when I was trying to have something happen. Basically, I didn't keep them up all the time. We've kept them up in different areas of the property, but I just never got anything, and it was just more of a hassle. I was constantly replacing batteries. I have these crappy, $20 cameras that I bought off Amazon like 6 years ago, and I'm too cheap to buy new ones. So I was always replacing. They take like 17 batteries a piece, and it was just nothing was happening. And I'd literally put things on the stump that I had this weird turtle shell show up on out of the blue, and I was trying to gift and trying to do this. It's not really my thing. I mean, if people follow me, I'm not really into the gifting thing. I kind of question that. I don't really know if there's any validity, but I was trying this because I don't know how to explain how this turtle shell showed up on this particular stump. That's a story in and of itself. And I did put an apple out there with a trail cam facing it, and something bit the apple. Something picked the apple up. It was stuck on a stick, almost like a candy apple that you'd get at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
And something picked the apple up, and I'm assuming this is what happened. It looks like something picked the apple up and took a bite out of it and stuck the stick back down into the stump. And I had a trail cam pointed at it that I'd caught raccoons on multiple times in the days before. The raccoons never touched the apple. They're on camera, never touched the apple. And then that day I came out, I was walking the dogs, I pulled the SD card, I brought it in, I checked the camera. I saw the apple had been bitten, so I picked the apple up, I brought it in. Nothing on the trail cam. No
Did
raccoon.
you take a cast of the apple?
No. I have photos, but I didn't take a cast of it. No.
I'll be
But
hooking up to my tiny house and driving my ass out of there.
Yeah, so two things here real fast. I did want to say, earlier we were talking about genetic, alterations and stuff like that. You bring up the fair again. We were talking about, going to the fair, the old, I guess, I don't know if I'm not politically correct, but the old freak shows or whatever. Boy, don't you miss those, like being a young kid going and seeing like the lizard woman, all curled up and, it's like, ugh, or the bearded lady, like all that kind of stuff. Boy, what a great time to grow up. I guess that's not allowed anymore. Last time I went to a fair, they didn't even have that.
Yeah.
It was kind of disappointing. I missed that. Only 3 tickets. You can go see the show. It always was like the lizard snake lady or whatever that always creeped me out when I was a little kid. But
it's probably not very PC to do that nowadays.
Right, exactly, I guess. But the carnies doing all their weird stuff is still allowed. But yeah, I mean, it was probably like the most normal person working there was the serpent woman. You know what I mean? The rest of them.
I like the 2-headed lady. It reminds me of my wife when I'm arguing with her. I always see 2 of them coming at me.
Marvin said I'm more like Medusa.
Don't look her in the eyes, Marv. Don't look her in the eyes.
No, don't do it.
That's a nice way to put it, Marv.
Right, exactly. Hey, now, Brian, I know you got to go here in a minute. You've been doing podcasts all day long. Would you like to see a video I made of my own Bigfoot sighting?
Of course. I'm waiting.
Okay, I think you will get a kick out of this. So the premise of this was there was a secret or there was a talent show that was going on YouTube, and nobody really knew who I was. So I entered it anonymously. Never claimed it. Still to this day, have never claimed it. I did have, you know what I mean. I have no idea where this footage came from, but I think you'll get a kick out of this. And anybody in the Bigfoot community, if you don't get a kick out of this, then yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you. But yeah, check this out right here. I think you'll like this. Let's see. Can you make that big there? Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Thanks a lot to Mr. Producer sitting in the back making all these magical things happen. All right, so check this out. You saw the beginning of it already. It's only like a 2.5 minute video, but I think you'll like it. And this is Bigfoot showcasing all of his amazing talents.
I've heard of people going in the woods playing a flute, but I've never heard of him doing it.
All right, so what do you think of Bigfoot's skills there?
That is definitely an interesting encounter video. I think that is one of a kind. Sure.
Now that goes to show you that you can spend that much time, do something, the editing, the everything, put it out there, get 800 views on YouTube, and somebody can post a cat playing with a ball of yarn and get 1 million. You just never know what you're going to get out of YouTube.
Damned algorithms.
Boy, they sure do get dumped on you sometimes, don't they? Now, Brian, I know you got to get going. So real quick, I know you've been on here over an hour and you've done 2 podcasts already today, so I'm sure you're about ready to pass out on us. But before you go, please let everybody know, the other stuff you do, because I think a lot of people, I know Nightbot's been dropping your links to your webpage and everything in the description of the video. If you just hit more, all the links to Brian's channels and social medias and stuff is in there. So please, y'all, do sub him up. But Brian, tell everybody about what you got going on.
Yeah, that's really it. I've got 3 books out now on Amazon. They're right behind me. The first one, Sasquatch Unleashed: The Truth Behind the Legend. The second one was Born Wild: Coda's Odyssey, Volume 1. Volume 2 is coming in a couple of months. And the latest book is The Sheriff of Bigfoot Country. You can find all those on our website or on Amazon. And yeah, the website's the great place to go. You can find the show Sasquatch Odyssey, Backwoods Bigfoot Stories, Disturbing History, The Guilty Files. I do host a show. We've been on hiatus since about August of last year, but we're bringing back, it used to be called That Bigfoot Podcast. We're rebranding it. It's going to be The Bigfoot Inquiry. I host that with Dr. Hogan Chiro, who is a PhD. He's all about primates. I think he's spent 5,000 hours studying gorillas and chimpanzees in the wild. So he knows anything and everything there is to know about primates, and he doesn't believe in Bigfoot. He's skeptical. So it's an interesting dynamic that we have on the show. We talk about everything. We've certainly covered some of the PG stuff. We're in the process of filming or recording those now. We'll probably drop them in the next couple of months, so keep an eye out for that. But you can find the shows on any podcast platform you're listening on, or you can go to the website and find links there.
Like I said, Nightbot has been dropping his links right there. Check out his website. I love that show, the Disturbing History? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Disturbing History. I listened to, I went instantly to the real Moby Dick, the real story of Moby Dick, because I really like that, and I'm a big, Call Me Ishmael fan. When it goes back. Some people still actually read books. That is me. I still actually love to read. Unfortunately, I need glasses now to do that. Now, Brian, I do have one more thing. So I've been doing these man on the street interviews based on this, because we have a question we have to ask to every guest that comes on our show. And I've been going out doing man on the street interviews, getting these. I'm trying to edit them out and figure it out. But we got one question we always ask every guest, and there is no right or wrong answer, as you would know. Did we or did we not land on the moon in 1969?
Oh,
that's what everybody says. I love it.
if you had asked me this question 2 months ago, I would have had a different answer, but I did a show about this on Disturbing History. And when you really dig in, I used to believe we didn't go, and now I believe we might have pulled it off.
Really? Okay, so you actually were the other way.
Yeah. I really got into the research, and when I really dug in deep on some of the nuanced stuff, if it is accurate as they've reported, I think we might have went. Now, there's still a small part of me, because I was totally in the bag that it was completely 100% a hoax just 2 months ago. But yeah, I doing the research.
Been paid off.
Dead Fish in the chat says, "Yep, you've been paid off."
I'm absolutely not a government agent. I promise.
Right.
CIA in the house.
Right. I mean, my biggest thing to where, like, how would you get, how many people worked on a lunar project? It would be hard to get 49,000 or 50,000, however many people, to keep their mouths shut. I've always go back to that, but then I look at the Eagle and I look at all the, looks like HVAC tape wrapped around it, aluminum foil. And like, if you were to tell me you're going to get in that and you're going to drop from this thing down, you're going to be like, hell no. No, I'm not. That hunk of junk looks like a child's science project. There is no way that I'm getting in that. That thing looks so hokey. I just have trouble believing it.
And then you're
What?
going to get back in it and you're going to fly off of the moon and we're going to take
Yeah.
a picture of you while you're flying away.
Well, the thing for me was always the Van Allen belt, right?
Right.
Me
the,
too.
The radiation,
Still.
everybody said you can't go through that. But I dug into it, and literally you get more radiation operating your microwave in your house, basically, was a good example, I think, that I found, than they did and were exposed to going through that radiation field. So again, is that true science? Is it junk science? I don't know. Again, it would have to go as they reported it for it to be a fact. But just those things that sort of put my mind at ease that I used to think were the smoking gun, so to speak, in the conspiracy theory. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still deep down. I'm really torn, to be honest with you. But
Me
after
too.
I that episode, I kind of thought we might have pulled it off. You know, I kind of want to root for the home team. I want to root for America and say we did it.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing about that too, if you listen to that episode, the Russians were listening to us very closely. This was a space race, literally. So if the Russians had had so much as a sniff that we faked that, they would have been all over it. And I don't think they had any evidence of it because they were listening to the transmissions that were going on in real time. That was the other thing. I was like, how do you broadcast from 254,000 miles away and it hit, you know, it's perfect on the television for everybody to watch. That was a whole another thing. But yeah, I think the Russians would have tipped their hand. I think they would have told the world that we hoaxed it if they could have proved it or even thought they could have got close to proving it. And I don't think they could. So that was another big thing when I really dug into the research that convinced me that if the Russians couldn't prove it was a hoax, then maybe it wasn't. Because I guarantee you they were trying.
You know,
What if they were in on it?
I don't know.
You know, they bought the A-bomb footage, but if you look at it, the camera doesn't move. Everything else in the footage moves, but the camera doesn't. The camera would have to have a natural reaction to the environmental condition, and it doesn't. And then the Van Allen belt, by the way, there's two different types of radiation. It's not just hot radiation that goes on that kills you instantly when you're close to the core. When you get out there and you're in space, this thing is cold radiation. And it shows up in UV. So because the magnetic field itself can't propagate the heat, so it shows up more in radiation, which is why they pick it up. It's not as harmful as the radiation you would get next to a reactor. So I'm sorry, but there's a lot of things in there that could get you there. But the way that they showed it did not be very appealing. But then again, you look at a satellite these days and what it's covered in, there's all that tin foil and duct tape again, right? So maybe not, but it's dude, I wouldn't get in that craft to go to the moon. I'm sorry, you couldn't stick me in there if you paid me to get in there. No way.
No, that and I remember the lunar rover where the seats are actually made out of like remember back, I don't know how old you are, Brian. We're all 39 on the internet. I do know that is something we decided a long time ago. But you remember growing up and those old chairs, and you could go to Walmart and you would buy like those strips of that material to redo. So the seats on the lunar rover are actually made out of that, and it's got like these weird little satellite dishes like floating around. Oh my God, it just looks so hokey when you look at it. It's like, seriously? Oh my God, I want to believe. Like, I really do. I believe in Bigfoot more than I believe in the lunar landing. I will say that.
I'm right there with you. That's something we can definitely agree on, for sure.
I would definitely say that is more likely. But, you know, I'm with you, though, too. I do hope we do rooting for the home team and all that kind of jazz. All right, Brian, we will let you go. I know you got to get to sleep. So much thanks for you for coming on here. Does anybody have any last questions for Brian before we let him go?
Nope. Just glad you came.
I was glad to be here. I appreciate the invite. It was a good time.
Yeah, and I want to have you back on sometime where we can talk about, you know, the ancient civilizations and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to dive into that with you because I think our conversations could be a lot more, I think we'd have more fun talking about a different topic, to be honest.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm always open.
Yeah, so let's keep in touch, man. I do appreciate you coming on once again. All Brian's links are in the description of this video right here. Nightbot is dropping that. Please, guys, go over there, sub him up, check out what he's doing. He's doing fantastic things. And, we appreciate the hell out of you coming on here and taking your time to do this with us. And I hope you had fun.
Had a blast. You guys have a good night.
Yes,
Peace out.
thank you, Brian.
All right, thanks a lot, Brian. All right, there you go, guys. Sasquatch Odyssey right there checking in with us. That was a great interview. I think he did a really good job. I like that guy.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's your takeaway from that, Gutters? Where do you stand on this? What do you think about it?
Oh, I'm still totally on the fence about the whole thing. I mean, I still can't say one way or the other. The problem is when you've never seen anything to compare it to, it makes it a little rough to go, oh, it's definitely a hoax, or no, it's not. So, it just,
right.
I don't know, to say it's not real, I don't know.
What do you think, Nathan?
Well, I see myself get out of the shower in the mirror and walk, so I can kind of believe that it looks like that, but it's a guy in a suit. Sorry, much as I want to believe it, it's still a guy in a suit.
Right. What about you, LW?
Well, I don't know if my audio's okay, but
no, you're good now. You're good. You're great now. You sound good.
I'm with Nathan on that, but the way it's swinging its arms to me, it's just not a thing. But
Well, see, I've always been down that line too. I've never actually believed that was a real video. Not to say that the Bigfoot couldn't exist, but I've never believed that video was real. So yeah, I kind of think, I would probably, I haven't seen the documentary, but I would sit there and say it's probably going to reassure me in the fact of not thinking that video is real.
But you got to remember who we are. None of us believe we made it to the moon either. You know
Right,
what I
we
mean?
are a bunch of wackaloons. Yeah,
So, we all kind of don't believe anything we see anymore.
Right. And now with AI and all that kind of stuff like that, I mean, how do we believe anything anymore? It's getting to the point now to where I can't stand it. This AI has absolutely driven me crazy.
Yeah, me too. Very frustrating.
Right. So we're at the hour and a half mark on this. What do you guys want to do? I think it was a really good show.
I don't know what you want to do.
I think we should take some callers and see what they say.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Let's drop the link for a minute. If anybody wants to call in, give their opinion, we'll keep this going for a few moments longer. But I think that was a really good show, and yeah, I don't want to mess it up.
Yes.
But I will drop the link right here, right now. If anybody wants to call in, give us your thoughts on it. Tell us what you think. Here's the link. Do it now if you would like to.
Do it. I've pinned it in both YouTube and Kick.
Oh, you got Kick. You got anybody watching you over there on Kick?
It says there's two people. I'm sure one of them's me.
One of them's you.
I don't know who the other one is.
All right, there you go. No matter where you're watching from, the link is pinned right there. We still do have 178 people watching us right now across all of our platforms. That is super cool. We appreciate each and every one of you. I know we didn't get a big chance to look at some of this, but I do want to give special shout outs here. It's hard to do when you got, interviewing somebody, to interrupt them. But we did have, I think this is coming over. Are these coming over on your channel over there, Gutters?
I think so.
Right. So yeah, big shout out over there on Gutters Pub channel. Or I'll let you do it, Gutters. Go ahead.
Yes, Obscure Destination. Thank you so much. He actually restreamed us, so I think this was like one of a big thing for him and his wife, so they couldn't wait to watch it. So thank you so much. And
right,
yes,
exactly.
yes,
Became a member of your channel as well. It also looks like they came in over here as well.
Good.
You know, thank you very much. Coming in there on the super chat. And they also did ask us, I am streaming this, so someone at least say my channel name so I don't get a copyright strike, please. I give complete permission for Obscure Destinations to be streaming this. So shout out to you, Obscure Destinations. Thanks for being over here.
Rose
Absolutely. Right on.
And can we all say happy birthday, Big Dog Ma? She says,
happy
good
birthday,
evening.
Big
All
Dog
my
Ma.
boys are here for my birthday. They treated me well today, so now I'm here to celebrate with y'all.
Happy birthday, Ma.
Yeah, Big Dog Ma, we love you over here.
We
so,
do love you.
God bless you. Happy birthday to you. Much appreciated.
Yes.
Well, Ma always like to hear this from me. So, Ma, I got my Tesla coils out here just for you.
Oh, look at that, Ma. You're getting some testicles for your birthday.
That's
We
right.
do got a guest coming in. Let's hear what he needs. No introduction, but I guess he should get one anyway. Let me see if I can actually find this right here. Let's see.
And keep having as many Duggars as possible. So it's going to be a Duggar America, everybody.
How you doing tonight there, Mr. Duggar?
Hello, people of Earth. How are y'all doing today?
Doing great, Mr. Duggar. Doing great. How you doing tonight there, brother?
Hey, man, it's National Big Dog, Sexy Dog Ma birthday. You know what? We're too blessed to be stressed. Happy National Big Dog Ma Day.
I know it. Happy birthday, Big Dog Ma. So what do you think about the Bigfoot stuff?
Dude, there's some, there's some pretty out there places where maybe some kind of ape-like creature or different type of human is out there that we haven't, we still haven't checked everywhere. I mean, they found in tribes down, in South America and stuff still. And what about Africa? And there's places there that you never know, But I don't know. I've never seen a Bigfoot. I've heard some eerie shit though. But I guess there's a answer for all that. But
So do you believe the big controversy? I don't know if you caught in the beginning of the show a new documentary coming out, like saying that the original Patterson Gimlin film was a fraud. Do you believe that video to be true or not?
No, I think that was a fraud.
Okay.
And nowadays, we got so many drones, so many heat-seeking drones, cameras, that it seems like somebody would run across one of those.
Right. You would think that would have happened by now.
However, like Marvin said, he's been in the woods his whole life, and he's never seen a Bigfoot, but he's also never seen a cougar, well, except for me.
Right. I was about to say I'm about to call him a liar.
I've seen a cougar.
39-year-old.
39-year-old cougar.
Bear,
Well, right there. That's Gutter's Pub.
That's it.
So yeah, I think it is funny how the Bigfoot community. I mean, like if you would think that if any community could just like come together and be peaceful, with each other, but it's funny to see drama in a Bigfoot community. I mean, it's. You could have a knitting circle on YouTube and they would have drama. It doesn't matter. Any social media thing, people are just going to have drama.
Well, and if there's women involved, there's definitely going to be drama. Let's be honest.
Oh, 100%. You ever notice how, like, okay, so say Mr. Duggar and I could get, like, or LW or Nathan, any of us could get into an argument, all right? And we would sit there and we'd look at each other and we'd cuss each other for a minute and be like, we'd blow it out of our systems, be like, hey, look, we can throw down right now, or we can go over here and sit down and have a beer together. Which way you want to do this? And the next day, it's all behind us. Now, women will sit there. They won't say anything about it. But 15 years later, they'll bring up why you pissed them off.
You bet your sweet ass.
They'll plot your demise for 15 years.
Right.
Yes.
They've been waiting on the day they could get back at that subject.
I think women like Bigfoot. They like to measure the size of men's feet all the time. That's for sure.
Well, or their hands.
14 triple E here. I don't know about
Tom Riddle said, never heard of this channel before.
Yep.
Just come in to say that thumbnail is absolute fire.
There you go, Mr.
Oh, there you
Producer.
go.
Mr. Producer getting the kudos on that one. Thank you very much, Tom Riddle. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you sub up everybody up here. We do this every Friday night. And yes, Mr. Producer, and his thumbnails are
My
fire.
favorite one.
So
Got
yeah,
flowers.
thank you very much, Tom.
Isn't that Tom Riddle for like Harry Potter or something?
I'm not sure. I'm not
I
a
don't
nerd.
know. But that thumbnail is my favorite thumbnail so far.
Yeah, I love that thumbnail too.
Me too.
Good job, Mr. Producer. We love you, brother.
Excelente.
It's my second favorite thumbnail. I still like the one he wouldn't let us use.
Oh well, yeah, that
Well,
one.
if we're going to include that one, that will always be my all
Oh,
time.
yeah, always be number one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was fun though. That guy, a really good guest there. Really intelligent person. I like the way he took it off for like straight down the middle as well.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get him back on.
Well, I want to see what ancient civilizations he knows about. Always an interesting topic there.
Yeah, I like
There's a new one about the whole hospital thing that I just seen. It's really good. It's about like 1900s when they stopped all the hospitals that were basically, these hospitals all had bells on top of them, and they used the bells for frequency. That was the whole way of helping them heal, and it worked for like fevers and all kinds of things. And then they took the bells and the hospitals away and restructured all the hospitals. And
If a
very
hospital
early
is healing people, they're not making money.
that's right.
I mean, they're just turning you in and out just to get you in there more. Big Dog Ma, you're so sweet. She says, many thanks to all here for the kind wishes, hugs. Yeah, love you, Big Dog Ma. You're an awesome person, and happy birthday to you. Happy 39th.
Well, hey, TF, I'll get off here and let somebody else come up here and pull you here. I just wanted to give my opinion and say hi to the folks.
We love you, Mr. Duggar.
Yep. Yeah, big loves to you, Mr.
Right
Duggar.
back at you. And y'all have a great evening. Good show. Did love the thumbnail myself, bro. So kudos to the producer. Even though he's an audio snob, he did a good job on that.
Yeah,
Oh,
welcome
thank
to
you
the
for that,
ASN
Mr. Duggar.
Network.
Somebody got to line him out, you know. Expect his elders to find out what's really going on. I love that dude ever since the first day I met him. I can't say kudos to us for just liking him because of who he is. Yeah, and I know TF had him at his house, right? And he come for a visit.
Yep. Oh, yeah. He came here, and we had a really good time, so it was great.
And he survived it, so he's a crew member now. So you know, he's a good cat. Next time I talk to him, y'all let him know I say something good nice about him.
Oh, he's sitting in the back listening to you right now, blushing.
Oh, is
I
he?
guarantee.
Oh, there he is, right there. Yeah. Well, you know, I had to go blow up some bases around mine that are antagonizing me, and you know, and I know they're at least 12 or 14 years old.
Well, you go over there. You go over there and
but I got
own that rust.
So take care. I'm going fishing in the morning, and you know, I'm too blessed to be stressed, and may God just shine His love on everyone that comes to this show and that's on the panel. Y'all have a good evening. Doodly doo.
All right, you too, Mr. Duggar. Thank you for checking in with us. Always much love to Mr. Duggar right there. Mr. Duggar Fishing right there checking in with us.
We love him.
Right on. Jealous. He's going fishing.
I know. I'd like to go fishing too. That would be absolutely wonderful. Oh, Tom Riddle. Oh, never mind. I have heard of this before. VicTube blew all of you out of the water. Exactly. Gotta love VicTube. Shout out to VicTube, winner of the Slav Olympics 2026, the champ. Yeah, big shout out, VicTube. All right, guys, we don't have anybody else coming in, and I think we should end while we're behind. LW, are you going live tonight?
Not with these audio problems.
I mean, you sound great now.
Yeah, I can barely be heard on YouTube. And my settings keep getting changed in StreamYard. Then I'm not even touching them, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with StreamYard. They've been doing some crazy stuff. What about you, Gutters? You going live tonight?
No, I am not.
She says no, she is not. No, she is
And no
not.
excuse to go with it. Just no, I am not.
If any of you want to go live and do something fun, I will definitely join in. Anybody?
No,
LW, twist your rubber arm.
Well, we'll have to spend the first 30 minutes fixing my audio. I'm sure that'll be a hoot for everybody listening.
I mean, it sounds great right now. I don't think it really matters. All right. Well, either way, everybody make sure you sub up LW. Make sure you sub up. We still got, I don't know why, but 181 people still watching. Big shout out to all you guys out there. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you please sub up to our guest. I know Nightbot has been dropping their link in the chat right there. And please sub him up. Super cool guy. I really hope to have him back on to talk about something, other than Bigfoot. That would be cool.
Yep.
Right on.
All right. So Nathan, what do you got coming up this week for us, brother?
Well, we're dealing with Walter Russell. So if you're a fan of Walter Russell, we did a live tonight on that. And then we have a Plasma Unleashed series coming out with Walter Russell in it. And it shows you basically how light goes to gas to plasma and how the universe forms and things like that. Really interesting work, man. He says he basically went into a coma for, 30 days or so, came out of it, and he started drawing pictures of the universe and how everything works. And when we start building out plasma physics, we start to see exactly that it matches what he said to the T. Every little part, every little nuance, every little thing that he was saying is starting to prove out. Now, he talks male, female, and there's a reason for it. And I think it's so interesting to go into, and it's an unbelievable topic.
Does sound very interesting.
Yeah, that's super cool. I was listening earlier while I was, doing this pool table, and super interesting show. Check out Old Man Bill's. Does a lot of cool stuff over there. Gutters, are you making a comeback? Are Tuesday nights coming back, or what the heck's going on?
Yes, probably. I'll try to get on there this Tuesday. Just had lots going on,
No.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm
I'm
back.
just asking. I mean, if the people can expect that.
Yep. Tuesday, I plan to be there. So.
And what are we going to be covering? Something fun?
I'm not sure yet. I'm sure it's going to be a few things. But it will definitely be interesting as usual. Yeah, I'll have to come find out. See what it's going to be about.
All right, I like it. What about you, LW?
He gone.
He gone. What the heck, LW? Let me do this real quick. So, hang on 1 second. And all right, cool. So everybody do make sure you do go check out www.abbinormal.com. Go over there and check out our website. We're trying to drive some people over there to that. Check out abbinormal.com. I know I'm going to try to do trivia night. I'm redoing this pool table behind me, so I'll probably be up late tomorrow night. My goal is to have that done, so hopefully I'll be able to get that and put in trivia questions for Sunday night, as always, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Sunday night, we do a live trivia night. It's really fun. We get a bunch of great people over there. More of a laid-back atmosphere. If y'all want to tune in over there, that would be great. Mr. Producer just put that in there, www.abbinormal.com. Go over there and check that out. It does archive all our shows over there. We would appreciate you going over there. I do want to say, please tell us goodbye in the chat. We're going to go out to something cool here. We do thank everybody for tuning in. And please, hit the thumbs up no matter where you're watching. This is going out on multiple streams. And, either way, I thought we had a great guest tonight. That's the kind of show I like to do. And we appreciate all of y'all. We really hope you enjoyed it. God bless each and every one of you. And we hope you have a really great rest of your Friday night and your weekend as well. Hope to see you Sunday night and on everybody else's panels as well. Have a great night. Yeah, big shout out to Sea Dog. I hear you, Tom Riddle. Big shout out to Sea Dog.